What's going on, guys? It's Jeff, and welcome to likely my final Vanguard video before Modern Warfare 2. Now, I don't usually do these kinds of videos, but I know other people that do, like Merc Music, for example. He has a whole series where he basically says, like, rest in peace so-and-so game of whatever that game is that year, or goodbye so-and-so game. And those types of videos are much better than mine, at least what I have planned here and the amount of time that I have to, do it. He compiled all of his best and favorite moments from Vanguard in general. And while that would be really nice to do, I would like to look back on it in a different way. Call of Duty Vanguard is definitely one of the most hated and most unpopular Call of Duties we have ever seen released. To be fair, I don't think mechanically this game is bad in any sense of the word. I also don't think the maps are absolutely terrible. I think the flow of the game is okay so long as you're not going over the top like Blitz and stuff. But even though Blitz and combat pacing in general, which is a very unique thing to Vanguard, no other Call of Duty has it. Combat pacing in Vanguard is one of my favorite things about Vanguard. This made the camo grind exponentially more fun, and it's not even just the camo grind, the game in general. I like and prefer more and more players on any size map. I don't care. I just want more players, more action, more engagement, more points, more kills, more potential for highlights, just more. And while it's an unpopular opinion, I am a fan of combat pacing. I like it. I think personally, with maybe some adjustments here and there, it could actually work in the future, but I don't know if they'll really ever come back to anything that they implemented into this game into the future. I don't know if they're just gonna be completely hands-off with this, just start from the ground up, we go from there. We're not gonna get another Sledgehammer game for a long time. There are some rumors that are going around and the ideas that they're pitching around at the moment, but I already made a video on that whole thing. This year, though, the biggest things that I will remember about Vanguard overall will be the sheer amount of speed and how this multiplayer just simply does not give a fuck. Everything else feels like it's holding people back, and Vanguard feels like you are truly able to do almost anything that you want. You have 10 attachments, control over how big the lobbies are. There are just so many things that you're free to do on this game. The amount of speed that you have with your tac sprint is unmatched. Feeling this game versus Modern Warfare 2019 is insane. People consider Modern Warfare 2019's movement to be decently fast with, all the slide canceling and shit. But on this, you got the slide canceling, you got the tac sprint, everything feels like it's moving at 2 times speed, got 2 times the players, 2 times everything. And also, this game balanced footsteps very, very well. They added Ninja to the game, which was massive for the pace of the game, and again, helped the flow of the game because people didn't sit around and camp and hide in this game. People straight up played. People pressed, people fought over and over and over. And we're not really gonna feel anything like this for at least a few years now. So it's definitely a new era that we're starting on. I don't know what it is about Sledgehammer games, but I'm always pretty fond of them, even though their games are honestly really forgettable. World War II was another game that I casually just enjoyed playing. A game where I would casually just drop V2 rockets and shit. Same thing with Vanguard. I would accidentally get V2 rockets. Earlier, when I was going for the camos and stuff, I had multiple gameplays and crazy big streaks, and it's just from me pressing and running around the map and just getting into gunfight after gunfight. No hiding around. The gameplay was high octane. It's fun. It's fast as shit. It's just being in a World War II skin on top of, the general jokes and the words and the feeling around the game. It's irreparable. There's no way you can undo that kind of damage. The only thing that'll bring this game back to any kind of form of popularity, or at least seen in a better light, would just be simply time. Time will pass, and I think some people will start realizing, not everything in this game was terrible. It really wasn't. And I'm aware that, there's a lot of people out there that are making these final, Vanguard videos, but I can honestly say it with a straight face that I enjoyed grinding here. Now, again, that doesn't mean that there weren't any problems with this. I had to literally explain to them how or why their camo challenges aren't working. It was a nightmare. It was terrible. For weeks, there were camos that were just completely broken, that completely locked everybody out of being able to unlock the final cam. Then they came out with updates that would fix one of them, and then it would break another. The descriptions just wouldn't be correct. Everything seemed like it was ported over incorrectly or something. So I'm hoping with, this new game and everything, they're not trying to copy and paste everything over exactly in terms of, like, the code and stuff. I don't want any, like, weird inconsistencies like that they have to go back through. I hope from the bottom up, this shit just works out of the gate. I know it's a lot to, hope for, but I even have my old feedback page here from the beta. Sniper rifles are outclassed even at range. It did get better over time, though, but sniping on this game really was just not that fun. Much more fun to do it over on Cold War, for example. Minimap, radar, and compass. Wish it were the way that it was originally, but I'm happy that they added a perk to somewhat meet us in the middle for that. But because these maps actually flowed really well and people weren't afraid to fire their weapons, and not everybody was running suppressors either, everybody just kind of had a good idea of where everyone was anyway. And attachments I thought were crazy. The audio in general general is just, it wasn't as good, but it is what it is. Gammon bombs did no damage. Stim was like really slow, and it still stayed slow, but it was still actually pretty good. Armor was actually really annoying, and it outclassed a lot of other field upgrades, but didn't end up being a massive issue from what I remember. The headshot damage was absolutely ridiculous, and on top of like the 10 attachment system in this thing, you could create so many crazy combinations of weapons out there. Obviously didn't end up being as powerful as we thought, but it did end up being a problem for a little bit. Everybody was running around with Vital and, you know, high damage mag and stuff like that. Ridiculous TTK. And not to mention, if you hit the head, I mean, it's just insta-death. Again, the challenges definitely could have been designed a little bit better in this game, other than like all the bugs and glitches and stuff like that, you know, with improper weapon names. And honestly, I hated the whole 3 attachment thing that they tried to go with, to have specific attachments on in order to, you know, complete the challenge. I'm hoping they don't have anything like that. With the leaked stuff that we saw, it didn't seem like it was going to be anything that was overly restrictive in order to get the challenges done, because it ends up being super annoying, because they would do these weird things where they would design a challenge that would have 3 different attachments that you needed, but you wouldn't be able to unlock one of the attachments until multiple levels later. So it'll actually mess up the flow that end up completing all the camos leading up to that point. You get to that, you end up getting stumped. You don't make any progress until you hit that next threshold, which didn't make sense. So why would the challenge be there if I can't even use the attachment that is within that challenge? There was just weird little things like that. I'm just hoping that we're just not even going to deal with this 3 attachment thing. I'm really hoping it's not a thing where we have to worry about what attachments are on our weapons, because it just seems like it adds so many issues. I'm sitting here eating food. I have no game audio for some reason. I don't remember why.
It's over. Diamond camo for all weapons.
I don't even know what I was eating at the time.
After nearly 2 hours, I finally ran into somebody that managed to get dogs. Didn't get to
2
see
and 22. And that's the other thing about the challenges, is that I'm hoping we don't have challenges that are highly dependent on other players doing something. I cannot get progress with my Panzerfaust, for example, with a challenge that is based around destroying ground streaks in particular, as opposed to air streaks, but nobody uses any of the kill streaks in the game because the ground streaks are not the good streaks. So you have to get into lobbies hoping that your team is losing and getting smashed enough for them to call in something like dogs to make any meaningful progress through multiple games, whereas every other challenge you can make progress immediately. Not to mention also this Dark Aether shit. I mean, yep, and there's a Dark Aether camo. This was another one that I got. Absolutely hate the fact that it looked that bad, but I'm proud that I went and got it in this shitty ass mode. This is something that I'll be able to look back on and like laugh about and mention alongside the obsidian grind and shit, because nobody wants to do this. This shit sucks. Although, to be honest, it was really relaxing after a while. Once you get the flow down, it's actually really relaxing to, you know, play zombies, but for sure, Cold War was the way, I mean, 10 times the zombies experience of Vanguard.
The shittiest zombies experience known to man. It has been complete.
Like I said, I agree, me. That's funny, because that's a genuine worry at that time too, whenever I was doing it. If I had to get up to pee, I had to worry that I was going to get kicked from the game, even if I paused it, which wasn't even an actual live pause thing at first, and then they added the pause like months later, and then the pause had like a timeout that it would still kick you or unpause or some shit. It was just so fucked up. And there it is, yeah, moving green tiger, it's dog shit. So I got the mastery camos, it was fun and everything. This game overall, whenever I think back on it, I'm not going to think of it in a negative way. There's a couple Call of Duties that immediately in my head, as soon as they're brought to my attention, immediately in my head, I have zero interest. I don't want, but I don't think that's gonna be the case with this game. I really don't. I think that this game could be kind of meme worthy, you know, maybe a few months later or like a year later or so, and somebody comes back and starts playing this game. I think some funny shit could be in here. I think this game does have its fun things, and it does have its upsides that other games don't have. The pace on this game is genuinely fun, and I think for a warm-up, without even thinking, like, I don't even use my brain playing this game. It's awesome. I feel like no matter what, I'm playing on shipment on this game just because of Blitz. I love it. So overall, if I give this game, you know, 1 through 10, I say that this game is a solid 7. Campaign was kind of, you know, whatever. I made my whole campaign playthrough, and surprisingly, people actually enjoyed it, but that was totally forgettable in my opinion. I'm hoping that the Modern Warfare 2 campaign is better. It likely will be, because, I mean, Modern Warfare 2019 campaign was definitely better, so. Cold War as well, I think, was also better than this campaign. Cold War Zombies smashes the shit out of this. Even the multiplayer on Cold War is better than this, personally. So yeah, I mean, that's Vanguard. That's one weird year, man. I'll say that. That is a weird-ass year. On to Modern Warfare 2, though.